Doing? Welcome back to my channel. Hope you're doing well. It's going to be a fun reading today. We're going to get into a look about your chemistry with your person. Do you guys have chemistry? I think the reason I decided to go ahead and do this video, again, I do read my comments, so that's always good, right? But I get ideas for videos also from the comments. And, I get my comments in lives. You guys all comment in there also. So I pick up on your vibes. I pick up on your energy. I hear all of your stories, your confessions about love, your upswings, your downswings, and all of it. And I get these ideas about these videos from you guys. And I guess one thing that I've noticed is some of you are definitely on a twin flame journey. The chemistry is right. You guys are just feeling the vibes. You're in tune. Even though your relationship may be rocky, you guys are right in sync, just laser beams towards each other, totally in tune with your lessons and your learning in your relationship. So I feel that. I feel it in a lot of your guys' energy. But I also feel for some of you, the wrong energy for each other. I feel from some comments, we have a very spiritual person, very Jupiter ruled, trying to be with someone that has strong Mongol aspects or placements, and they are not Jupiter ruled. So I see two people butting heads in frustration. And yes, in America, in maybe many different cultures, you hear that age-old saying, opposites attract. There may be truth to that. Opposites do attract. They are attracted to each other, but they don't last. And I think that's what you guys are all really interested in. Not just getting together and hooking up with someone, but is your relationship made to last? So for a lot of you guys who have been with me for years, you guys pretty much already know what I'm gonna say. And if you want to miss the video, you can. If you feel like it's a rerun or a repeat, you're welcome to just miss this video. But I hope you don't. You won't let me sleep tonight. Oh no. So, how do you know if you're a Manglik person? Now, in Hindu, you can say Mongol dosha. And a lot of even Hindu people, they confuse Manglik with Mongol, and it's not the same description. It's not the proper enunciation or description or adjective of what that is. So Mongol dosha is when someone has Mars in the first house, possibly the second. It's not always the second, but that's a possibility. But the fourth, the seventh, the 8th, and the 12th. Those are houses, okay? If you have Mars in one of those houses in your birth chart, maybe even your Navamsha. Not always. A lot of astrologers don't, but I'm more of a modern approach to astrology than ancient. I take the ancient values, but I look at it in modern days. I can see a lot of placements in Navamsha that make sense as far as being a Manglik or just having planetary descriptions there. Thank you. I love my candle too. So anyways, Mongol dosha is that 12th, 1st, 4th, 7th, and 8th placement. Like I said, sometimes it can be the second house. But I don't see a lot of effect if it's in the second. I really don't. But there is some, okay? Anyways, now, how do you describe a person that has that Mongol dosha, which is a Mars dosha? It is calling them a Manglik. A person that has those placements is described as a Manglik, spelled the way I spelled it. And I'm describing this in detail because I've been confronted by an Indian once from India that was correcting me on Mongol versus Manglik. And she really got me all fucked up because she was from India, and I was like, what the fuck? This is not what my teacher told me. So I went back and researched the right pronunciations and the right descriptors and adjectives of someone who is, you know, having a Mars dosha. And it is actually, indeed, I was right from the beginning, it is a Manglik. The last time I listened to other people, I'll tell you, that really sent me on a tailspin. So I just wanted to be super descriptive so you guys know what I'm talking about, so you can Google stuff and learn stuff for yourself. Okay? So in Indian and Hindu astrology, which is what I follow, Vedic sidereal astrology, I don't follow tropical Western. It's not that I don't know anything about tropical Western astrology. That's where it all started for me. That's my ABCs. But the more I got into astrology, the further I got into it, I got into Vedic sidereal. And it just is much more descriptive for me. I like details. Tropical is just your ABCs. If you want to learn how to speak other languages, you get into Vedic. You know what I'm saying? So you learn more, you get into depth. Anyways, if you are a Manglik person, welcome, welcome to this reading. Guess what, though? Guess what? If you are not a Manglik person, welcome to this reading, because you're both going to learn something today about the chemistry that you share with your person and how you can see that in astrology, okay? Because it is definitely seen in your charts. Let me just give my cards a real good shuffle here. These cards are available on my website, jks1111.com, if you're interested. Okay. Just wanted to get it a real good shuffle. This particular deck has over 100 cards. It's 78 tarot plus bonus cards. Okay. You like that shuffle? Me too. All right, one last good mix. So we're going to pull out some energy here for the collective just as we begin, just as a, you know, preliminary message before we get into this reading. Just a message that we should maybe hear as we get into things. As you open up to this reading, open up your emotions. A lot of you guys have suppressed feelings, suppressed sexuality, suppressed desires, suppressed anger, just a lot of suppression, basically. Let's just leave it in a nutshell. And we need to release that. The overall underall energy in societies everywhere. This is my deck, honey. Yeah. I made it. So anyways, the overall underall feeling for you guys is we've got to release the Kraken. We all have emotions underneath us that are important to our lives. If you are not a Manglik person, don't beat yourself up. Oh my gosh, I want to be a Manglik. I wish I was a Manglik. And if you are a Manglik, don't hate yourself either. I wish I wasn't. I wish I wasn't. It sounds so terrible. There's good and bad to every situation. You have to take it with a grain of salt. Thank you, Katrina Bailey, for the $4.99. I love you. How do we know if we are, Jamina? Yes, because I'm getting more people in as we are speaking. It is if you have Mars in the 1st, 4th, 7th, 8th, and 12th house. If you have Mars in one of those houses, you will be a Manglik. And sometimes you can even be a Manglik energy if Mars is in the 2nd house, okay? So before we get into that, let's just talk just a tiny bit about Mars, because some people are new. And if you are wanting to know more about astrology and learn easy astrology from me, I try to explain it in an easy way for you to understand. I get information from my teachers, which are very technical. They use different words, and they use a lot of things that would confuse most people in their teaching. So my gift is to take that information that seems really difficult and kind of create it in a way where it's easy for the everyday person to understand astrology without feeling like they have to be from India, they have to speak Hindu, they have to understand the terminology of the devas, the grahas, and all of this stuff. because they can get confused. They feel like they have to learn a language and learn astrology. So I try to make it easy so you guys don't have to be overwhelmed with all the terminology used in astrology. So if you want to learn more about astrology from me in a simple way, I have Astrology for Beginners 101, how to read a birth chart, how to understand planets, zodiac signs, and a couple little predictions that you can find. It's going to be a fun class. And careers, love, marriage, that kind of thing in that class. If you want to go there, you can go to jks1111.com. It starts on the 10th. It's coming up very soon at 7 p.m. It's a live private class. But if you miss the time, that's okay. I will send you the link and you can watch the class at your leisure. So it's $99, and I am doing a special these last 48 hours. If you want some questions answered for yourself, you would get a free reading, a free little mini, okay? It's like a $22 value. You can get a question or two answered, and it's included with your purchase of the class, okay? So if you're interested in that, you can go there now. But anyways, a little bit about Mars. Jenny, yeah, we're going to do the 100 Club after this, in a separate video after this one. Mars is passion, drive, desires, sex, strength, power, intensity, stubbornness, masculinity. It represents muscles. It represents weapons. It represents knives. Okay, guns. It represents war. Think of Aries. Also think of the god of war. So you think of Mars, the god of war. Well, Mars is also someone who likes sex and intimacy and passion, kissing, rubbing, getting into it with another person, basically combating one body to another for pleasure. So Mars can also be seen as pleasure because it enjoys one thing. And you should mark this down. Mars enjoys to conquer. He enjoys conquering. He wants to conquer. So when you think of masculinity and sex or passion, this is someone that wants to conquer another human being. I want to take you. You're mine. So there's a lot of possessiveness, possession, ownership, dominance. You're mine. And I want you and I own you. This is also representing tattoos, which is like a symbol of ownership. Putting someone's name on you is a Mars-driven thing. It's also that competitive drive. I did not mention competitiveness. So Mars is competitive. And think of him as like a general in a war, or even just a very intense soldier. Someone who wants to conquer other armies, conquer places, conquer tasks for the king. The king is the sun, and the king is you. So when you look at Mars in your chart, this is what you want to conquer. You want to overcome something in this house. Now, when you mentioned the houses that I mentioned were Manglik, let's just start with the 12th house. That's the house of bed pleasures. Ooh, yes. The house of secrets. It's sexual pleasures also. It's fantasy, you know, is really what it is. Fantasy, dreams. It represents the bed and the feet. So the last place you go every day. If you want to have a strong marriage, if you really want to see if my relationship has good energy, you're going to want to look at the 12th house. That has a lot to say about how happy a marriage is, because how happy is the marriage bed? How happy is their sex life? Not only is that the 8th house, which we will get to, which is also sexual organs, sexual body parts, intimacies, that's more of a fetish, okay? 8th house is fetishes. 8th house is dominance a lot because Mars rules that house. So there's a lot of, what is it? HDM? No. I don't know. The acronyms for people that dominate other people. I don't remember what it is. SDM, whatever the fuck. Okay, you guys know. I'm not obviously into that. DMS? No, I don't know. God, I can't remember. Anyways, the 12th house is definitely bed pleasures and the bed of the marriage. And it represents the spiritual connection. So how into the soul are you with another person? You're going to want to look at the 12th house. And you get a lot of spiritual people that say sex has nothing to do with intimacy and spiritual connection. Well, they couldn't be more wrong. They couldn't. I'm not saying one is more than the other, but I'm saying don't discredit one because you think highly of yourself in another. Intimacy has a great deal to do with soul connection. Okay, a great deal. And if you don't have that, you can still have a great deal of connection, and I'll get to that in the chemistry part of this reading. So then you go into the first house. Mars wants to conquer thyself. So when Mars is there, it's like you want to be the best version of your best self. So when Mars is in the first, you look really sexy. You look really hot. You take good care of yourself. You work out. You're physically fit. You want to be smart and intelligent. You know, think Christian Grey. And Mars will aspect the 7th. So then it's dominating the other partner. So there's a lot of dominance seen with Mars in the first. Okay, but it's also sexiness, okay, masculine sexiness. If a woman has Mars in the first, she's going to be more muscular, and you've seen those women that go to the gym and they look like a guy kind of, or maybe they're not that big as a man, but they're definitely muscular, and you're like, wow, that girl looks kind of like an Amazon queen, you know, like an Amazon girl, not, you know, masculine, but you know, certainly more masculine than some women. Certainly not dainty. So that's where I'm kind of going with that. And there's a lot of, like, maybe masturbation or something with that also. But I'm going to leave that there. Moving on. Mars in the 4th house is someone that actually has a lot of real estate. Could have the possibility for a lot of real estate, because it wants to conquer owning homes. And it also is very sexual because it conquers the spouse in creating children, because there's a lot of passion. And, you know, the 4th house can represent a bed also because it represents the home. So there can be a lot of baby making going on in the 4th house. So Mars there could be creating a lot of children. And sometimes if you see Rahu with Mars there or Jupiter with Mars there, you can see an explosion of children. Way more than the Brady Bunch, okay? So definitely a family of rabbits that enjoy the pleasure of making them, as well as owning different homes, because they're going to need quite a big one, if not a lot of them. Then going into the 7th house, Mars there is very much similar to the first, but a little bit different. This person wants to be probably conquered by their lover, because the 7th is away from you. The first is you. You want to be the conqueror if you have Mars in the first, but you want to be conquered if you have Mars in the 7th. This means you want someone to smack that ass. You want someone to grab you, tell you they own you, tell you that you're theirs and you're going nowhere. You're mine. You're all mine. And that possessiveness. So when you have Mars in the 7th, ooh, you like to be possessed by another person. And you like to be dominated. Okay? And so you don't mind having a controlling spouse or dominating spouse or a spouse that rules the home. You like the tradition of it, and you like that. It turns you on intimately, sexually, spiritually. It turns you on. It's what makes you tick. You enjoy this. And you enjoy, obviously, sexual affection, okay? That's something that you enjoy a great deal. So that's really an interesting one to have. A lot of people would probably not know that about yourself, because Mars in the 7th also means you're dominating to other people. So as far as your relationships with co-workers, clients, children, family. You actually want to dominate them. You want to be the one barking orders. You want to be the one in control. Even in certain aspects of your relationship, you're like, look, I don't mind if you dominate me in the bedroom, but you will not dominate me in my life. You won't tell me what kind of career I'm going to have. You won't tell me how much money I can make. You won't tell me where I can and cannot be, because that person wants to fight, because Mars also represents combat, as you already know. So there's a lot of arguments and can be domestic disturbances with Mars in the 7th and even in the 4th. But you can dominate me intimately, but you can't dominate me in my life. Because that person with Mars in the 7th is very ruling and controlling in life and at work and with children, very much like a general, but they don't, like I said, they don't have a problem if you want to dominate them in the bedroom. You know, they're cool with that. They like that kind of role play. So anyways, moving on, Mars in the 8th is going to be someone who has a lot of drive and determination towards mysticism. And the kind of sexual energy that would go on with a Mars in the 8th is very secretive. We're talking maybe burning hot oil on someone, tying them up. Very Christian Grey. And what was it, the 50 Shades of Grey? Yeah, you have the sex room, the dark room, that no one knows about. It's top secret. And there's a lot of, weird shit that goes on there and a lot of dominance. There can even be some really kinky desires that I don't really want to get into, but I guess I'll mention some. This is not for most people. This is for those weird odd people that have a moon somewhere with Rahu, okay, or some shit. But necrophilia, choking, weird dress up, maybe as a child or an animal, some weird stuff like that, guys, some real weird stuff. That can be seen especially with Mars in the 8th. And unfortunately, there can be abuse and going on there also. So rape and things of that nature. And that's a lot of, and here's the deal. With Manglik persons, there's always that shadow side, to be honest, where they might secretly be turned on by those things. And kidnap, rape, whatever, abuse. And they'll never talk about it. Now, this is not every Manglik. I said some. But if you go deep down in your bottled up emotions and the crevices of your thoughts and your mind, you might be surprised at the secrets that maybe turn you on. And that's between you and God. You don't have to say anything. But this is something that goes on with Manglik people.